Dr. Alex Greengold.
Test 24D.
We can now officially be heard.
Oh god, okay.
Alright, so I think we left off sometime after the finish. Oh yeah, we finished after Energy John, you know, did his thing, did his whole shebang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Energy John did his whole shebang. Is what happened last time we were doing our thing.
Mm.
And he is now learning to master a new type of energy known as the Echo Nova energy. How interesting.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
So he's learning how to master Echo Nova energy.
Yep, which by itself is a sentient energy.
Yep.
So, the question is, how is he gonna learn it?
He probably is gonna. He might ask Echo. He might
Nova
ask.
Era.
Yeah, Nova Era. To help him master it. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So he's probably gonna ask him that. Oh, and then we still left developer Steve in that pocket dimension.
Yep.
So we ever gonna address the elephant on the room on that one?
Well, he was left away out, remember? He wants to.
Yeah. He's not a prisoner.
Nope.
Hold on. Alright. Fucking with the audio I'm hearing. There we go. Anyways. Just adjusting stuff while we stream. For my own convenience. Ooh. That'll come in handy. So basically... Oh, yeah. So... And so the first the first Overlord has made an appearance as of recent. So after what happened, so he's starting to make his way around town, and everyone's noticing, aka Lord Relic, who is now the fusion of the two Technas.
Fucking Eternal Judge as well.
Yep.
In fact, we actually left them off with literally seeing the first Overlord. Or, yeah, the first Overlord standing in front of them.
Yep.
So, which one do we want to do?
For this one, I think we'll touch upon what's going to happen next in this one a little bit.
In which one?
So after they leave, because remember, they went to the first... Yeah, they did. There was a lot of visiting around, apparently, last time we did something like this.
Yeah.
And time travel bullshit paradoxes.
Yep. And of course, the last time we left off with Lord and Eternal Judge was they were with the true Overlord, and then Voitechna arrived.
Yep.
And then the first Overlord arrived. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Voitechna went to go attack somewhere else at the same time, I think.
Yeah, Voitechna has been he's been attacking places. He's attacking some of the Stalaxians currently, giving them hell, basically. I think he's over by the north side. Yes, the north side areas. So he's making an attack from the north for some reason.
So we are gonna follow around Voitechna and that shit, right?
Probably not. Like I said, he's on his own self journey at the moment. Like I said. Something's not right. And we're going to be mostly focusing on Lord Relic and Energy John, since they've been hanging out a little bit. Since he can get in touch with Echo Nova era a little bit.
Fair enough.
Since Energy John has no idea how to contact him. And we didn't make a way for them to be contacted at the moment.
Oh. Simple ass portal.
Well, that would have been helpful information. I'm not retconning that idea, but anyways. So since I'm not retconning that idea, we're going to continue, and basically what's going to happen next is a little bit more interesting. So they're kind of just visiting, and the Gray Firstborn, someone we haven't seen in ages, visits them.
Oh.
Yes. And to give some context, since I'm pretty sure no one knows this, but the Firstborns are the first Stilaxians that were ever created. They're like demigods in a sense. Their whole purpose is to watch over their respective colors and keep their colors alive.
Mm.
And they are formidable opponents, let's just say that. Anyways, point is, they're a force to be reckoned with. And here's where I think the fun part really begins.
Hmm.
So as he shows up, he's like, I have a message for you two. Well, somewhat of a message. And Lord Relic is more like, oh? How interesting. What unholy shiza do you have for us this day, Mr. Grey Firstborn? What I have for you today is unfortunately a message that it's happening again. What? And Energy John would more or less be confused, but he'd be like, wait, what? What's happening? Lord Relic understands, and he'd be like, ah, shit. Does the others know? No. No one else knows at the moment that it's coming to an end. The cycle as we know it is beginning again. And we are at its very peak climax soon. My firstborns and I have decided to tell at least a few people, but we're keeping it away from the general populace. They didn't take it well the last time we just broke the news. And that's basically what happens there. He basically tells them that the cycle is basically going to end soon. And then he gives a formidable warning before leaving. And remember, I don't know exactly what's coming on the horizon, but whatever it is that the universe has revealed that it is not good. Even the firstborn Indigos are saying that this is not like anything we've ever seen before. The end is coming, and it might not be the same as it was the last time it happened. And then with that, he teleports away. He just kind of gives a warning and then teleports away. He does not give any fucks after that. And I mean, because remember, he's the one who made a deal with the Dealkeeper that one time when the Reimagined were showing up.
Yeah, when the Void Shapers showed up.
Yep. It's a good thing I guess you could say it's good to see that he's still in good spirits after all that time, though.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he gave up more of his sanity because of it.
Ah, that idiot.
Could be worse.
Yep.
He could have sacrificed everything that he had ever known. But he didn't.
Mm.
Anyways, he didn't sacrifice everything he'd ever known, so that's a good thing.
Mm. Okay, so what's happening next?
So, as everything's going about their day, the the Celaxians are trying to support the north side because the first 3 yellow castles have already fallen to the void,
Of course.
and the broken haven't been seen in ages. Like it's been about I'm giving it about time period about 7 months. It's been about 7 months, and no one's actually seen them around. So people think that they're planning something, or that's as the campfire stories go.
Mm.
So that's the rumors going around that they're planning something. So people are paranoid.
Of course they are.
And not only are they paranoid, they're building battle mechs
Mm-hmm.
because of their paranoia.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for a specific moment I can introduce something.
And one of the at the so most of what's happening is happening near the north and the west and the south. A little bit there's stuff happening towards the east as well, but not much. Mostly just manufacturing stuff happening near the east.
Hmm.
But anyways, the south and the west divisions are like, how do I say this? They're preparing for something, but one of the blue one of the blue Stalaxians who's there, their eyes kind of just shift as they're kind of like helping with preparations, but their eyes are shifting in and out. Like their eyes are not normal eyes, and their facial features are slightly off. Like one of their horns is like split in two, but it's not regenerating, and when it does, it's twisting. So he's a bit of an abnormality, but he's important for later, maybe. But anyways, he's just there, helping out, but maybe with a motive. We'll come back to that. Anyways, Lord Relic doesn't know exactly what to do. And so Energy John gets explained by Lord Relic on what's happening. And basically, Energy John is like, you've gotta be kidding me. Again? And he says, yes, again. It was inevitable. And you gotta keep in mind, they're preparing. They're gearing for shit.
You know, I have to keep in mind the fact that he has Equinova energy too.
Yeah. Well, that part I already knew.
I know. I said I gotta keep myself reminded. Hmm. Continue.
Anyways. as I was. So, he's basically, you know, shit's going down. But here's the thing. They're
Hmm.
not sure what to do. They need a plan of attack. And Void Techna, he's not holding any bars. The shit that they're dealing with has never been before seen at all.
Hmm.
Because this Void is not normal Void. Techna's Void, or Void Techna's Void, is like completely on a whole different level.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not just stopping at his own world. After Dr. Butston, that guy, the Eldred's abomination, let go of that world, and they took back control, they finally took over the entire world. Because Dr. Butston gave Void Techna something to fulfill his goals.
Yeah. And, you know, while those two are thinking, all they hear, like literally near them, is just, we see helpless.
Helpless?
Like literally all they hear, just off to their side, is just someone saying, we see the helpless.
Everyone's confused. Like, who hears it, or where's it coming from?
Oh, they both hear it. Uh, Energy John and Lord Relic both hear it.
Ah, their confusion intensifies.
And all they can see near them is a beamform that's made out of Echo Nova energy. And it's see-through, floating there. Incorporeal. Like literally not physical.
And Void Techna just chimes in. This is something to do with that Echo Nova energy, isn't it? And Void Techna. No, wait. No, wait. Lord and Energy John's like, maybe. I don't know.
And then the thing kind of slowly points over at Energy John and says, we have learned. You learning. Nova energy learns. Hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, you might have to repeat it. I zoned out.
Oh my god.
Not intentionally, but you get the point.
Yeah, basically, it points over at Energy John. It just says, we have learned. You learning. The Nova learns.
Ah. So Energy John is more like, okay then. Learning. How interesting. How indeed interesting. Like that's all he has to say on that. Learning.
Wonder how, Lord Relic is thinking about that.
Lord Relic is more like, okay. Anything else we should know?
The thing just looks over at Lord Relic and just says, darkness peers behind the curtains. It stares. It hungers. It only wants. Before it disappears.
Okay, well, that was interesting. Lord Redlick is more like just more baffled than anything. And that's when they hear the everything starts shaking for a
Oh god.
split second.
Oh god.
And Energy John points up. I think you might want to look at this. And guess what happens when he looks up?
Hmm. What?
There is a giant teal pointed triangle in the sky, and now there is no longer a blue sky. It is completely space.
Mm.
And a giant, and everyone can get a good view of the outer edges of the multiverse.
What the hell?
And this is gonna brain fuck everyone. They can see the giant snake on the outer rim of the multiverse.
Again, what the hell?
Giant snake.
I'm a Slytherin snake.
Anyways, and everyone could see that. All the Stalaxians, everyone, even the directors can see it, and they're like, well, shit. We weren't expecting this. And here's the fun part.
Hmm.
Guess what they see flying in the sky?
What?
Gargoyles that have been mutilated that look like the Broken.
Fun.
And they are swooping down now and trying to eat things. And now there is a giant flying worm.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And the worm is also worn out and broken. Like, just, it looks run down. Like, it is not freshly coated in paint. It is, and it is just ramming into whatever it can periodically and flying around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Pretty interesting, I might add. And as that keeps unfolding, the fucking Energy Jaw's like, we are so fucked. And guess what else happens after this?
What?
All the demons from the fucking Forgotten Purgatory start falling into their reality.
I mean, of course.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets bad.
I can tell.
And it is just increasing and increasing and increasing. And even the angels start falling down from the heavens. And the angels, they're like, fucking hell's going on? Like, one of their top commanders just shows up. And people that were dead are suddenly now in the living world. And they're like, what the fuck's going on? And Lord Relic explains, it's happening again. And much bigger this time. You also have to keep in mind the planet that they're on is actually pretty big. Similar
Yeah.
to ours, just 3 times as bigger.
Okay.
And they're just dumbfounded. And they're like, ah, shit. That means the demons are here now, too. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention. So remember when I couldn't figure out who was in charge of all the angels and demons?
Yeah.
I created a director for them.
Oh, god damn it.
So there's the director of demons and the director of angels, and they hate each other very much. And then you have the person above them called the director of neutralism, and he's just kind of there. He's basically the one reason why their purgatory exists, because he doesn't take sides.
Fair.
Yeah, he does not take sides. And basically, because he does not take sides, yeah, he might not get involved. He might just watch. From what I understand. If my memory serves correctly, yeah, he might just watch.
Mm. Okay.
So he might just be there watching.
Mm-hmm.
So since he might be just there watching, and he's just gonna everyone, all the gods are just watching. All the directors are just like, what? And the director of everything is just observing all of this, taking it all in. Because remember, he's everything in one body,
Yep.
given physical form, and literally probably the one person who is more powerful than all of them. He does not care what's happening anymore,
Lol.
in the slightest. Like he genuinely just stopped giving a flying rat's ass, and he's just like sitting there like, this is going to be entertaining, as this has happened many times. It will happen again and again and again and again and again and again. So as he's doing his own thing, and he's doing it very well, he's just it's like the other directors look at him like, really? He just shrugs them off like, whatever.
Mm.
So all the angels start regrouping, and guess who shows up?
Ooh.
The general, the blue general. He's a story. He just chugs down a pint of beer. He's like, where am I? Where am I? Booze, alcohol. Where am I? And the angels all facepalm when he shows up.
Mm.
And Lord Relic's like, my name is Lord Relic. Pleased to meet you. And he just kind of bats his hand away like, whatever, boy. I got more fish to fry, and if it's the resetting of this fucking cycle again, I'm ready to kick ass and chew gum. Just fucking says, I'm all out of booze, though. Yeah, he butchered that saying so hard, and that was his intent.
I like him.
He did not give a flying rat's ass about not butchering that.
Lol. Well, for the most part, I'm kind of just listening.
Yeah, for the most part, you haven't chimed in with anything. And so, and then Energy John's like, well, we better get ready for the upcoming battle.
Wanna know what happens within a few seconds after he says that?
What?
A purplish rift opens up near them,
Mm-hmm.
and out comes the first overlord.
Everyone,
Or I guess what he's called now, the reimagined overlord.
everyone slowly turns to look at him.
Actually, wait, do you even remember what he looks like?
Barely. And no one on here knows. No one on my channel knows what he looks
Ah,
like.
then let me
So
describe him. So when he comes out, he appears humanoid, but the left side of his body is all burnt up. His left arm is missing. And the upper part of his face where his eyes would be, it's just a hole like broken glass. All the while wearing torn up clothing and a trench coat. Literally looking like he walked out of the damn grave.
ah, man, literally a zombie.
I mean, he should be dead, but he's not. So anyways, continue.
So as I was, he's just kind of there, and they're like, "Oh my!" And Lord Riley's like, "It's the first Overlord." Holy shiza. Energy John is just dumbfounded. He has no words.
You know, the others are probably wondering, like, what's the big deal with this one?
Energy John just says, I wouldn't underestimate this one. And the angels are cautious of him now.
In the first Overlord, the reimagined Overlord, I should say, just slowly looks over at them without, actually having eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just looks at the situation. Pretty much just seeing what's going on.
Damn, that's all he's doing?
Mm-hmm, but he's not saying a word.
Man doesn't care what happens. Well, I guess he's not gonna chime in with anything. I thought he was gonna say something, but okay, let's get back to what we were doing. So Lord Relic starts getting everyone back on track.
And then just completely out of nowhere, the reimagined Overlord just says, locate.
Literally after hearing that, everyone stops what they're doing. Locate? Locate what?
He just slowly looks over them and has the most wicked smile ever, and he just says, Void Techno located.
Mm.
Before that same rift opens up around him and explodes into glass.
Well, everyone's getting ready for the coming onslaught. He's going after Void Techna.
Mm-hmm.
Something tells me he has some beef with Void Techna for some reason.
Maybe.
I wonder what his beef is with Void Techna.
That's the thing. We don't know if he does or not.
So, back at Void Camp, they've taken over 3 yellow castles and converted more Slaxians into their Void minions. And they're like, all hail Void Techna! All hail Void Techna! People chanting his name, bearing his insignia.
And while they are doing that, several runes just start burning around them in the air.
They're in the
And
Grand Hall, just keep that in mind. This is like a Grand Hall area. Where they're actually, like, resting. Some people are training, some people are napping, some people are chanting and praying to Techna.
Mm-hmm.
Literal praying to him, and he's like, it's good to be me. Good to be me. Isn't that right, Sword?
The current was just replaced with, as you are going to be. That's all that matters to you, correct?
Well, I take pride in my army. And if that's a sin, then so be it.
No, and literally in the middle of the entire Grand Hall, that same rift just opens up.
Oh. Looks like we have an uninvited guest.
And you know, Void Techna can tell it's a Rift, or yeah, Void Runner Rift 2.
The Void Shapers?
Yeah,
That's
Void Shaper.
that's his first words when that opens up.
And guess what you can hear from it?
What?
A bunch of whispering that you can't tell what they're saying before the reimagined Overlord walks through.
Or, wait, I thought we were calling him the first Overlord.
Reimagined Overlord, first Overlord, same difference.
Alright, we'll just call him the first Overlord.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. I don't want to keep it complicated, anyways. We already have it too many complicated enough. Alright. Alright. So, Void Techna's eyes kind of widen and shock a little bit. He's like, I was not expecting this.
And again, he just says nothing. He looks at Void Techna with a small grin.
He grins back, trying to act friendly towards this new intruder.
And guess what the first words come out of his damn mouth are?
What?
He just says this. Is this what she would have wanted from you?
And then his smile turns into a frown. The guards are just standing there, like, almost tempted to ready to fire. Like, they got their weapons ready, and they could fire at the intruder if they wanted to. But without Techna's orders, they can't do shit.
Yeah, and the first Overlord, after saying that, he's still standing there with that small grin on his face. But he tilts his head, which when he does, it sounds like glass breaking.
Ah. And he looks dead ass into his no eyes. Void Techna's scowl starts, and he's just like, at this point, what does it matter? I can't bring her back. I moved on. He literally just he basically just told the true Overlord he moved on. Life happens.
And the first Overlord just says, and look where it's got you now.
And he looks at him dead ass with no expression and just says, and sips a literal void wine cocktail and says, it's got me a lot of things. Things that I want. Things that I need. And now, I have people who worship me daily. I have an army, a loyal army at my disposal, and it is wonderful. What do you have?
You know what's funny? He doesn't say anything for a few seconds. And without even actually moving, Vortex can actually tell he's looking around slightly.
And he sees all the people who are under his, like, void, like, consumed by it, enthralled in it, unable to let go of that void that's kept them as his minion. Because you gotta keep in mind, Void Techna's warped their minds and their souls with the void he creates.
And wanna know what he replies with now?
What?
He just says, you're no better than to call me, are you?
Decogni? Oh, you mean that weird protogen thing in a glass jar?
And he literally just starts walking towards him now, slowly. Just says,
And he says, Unlike Mr. Takamni, I have class. And he does not give his expression. There is no expression in Void Techna's eyes. An empty, just doesn't give a fuck expression.
The first over replies with, unlike you, the Kami was able to see everything. Telling empty lies that sweeten bitter truth.
Better truth, or better agony of misery. What was it that your precious Takamni had that I didn't? I
The
have.
first overlord stops for a second, looks at him, and he just says, self-freedom. Independence. And did not rely on things like a sword with a god trapped in it.
He looks at the sword. Is the sword gonna say anything?
Nope. Because it doesn't know what to say.
At all?
Mm-hmm. And then the first Ultra says, he's not talking, isn't he?
He looks at this overlord. He's like, so you're the first overlord. He knew instantly. The sword didn't have to say a damn thing. He knew.
And the first Ultra just says to him, says, I was.
Shouldn't you be rolling over in your grave, sir? He does it with a smirk too.
No, the moment he smirks, the fucking first Overlord's already right in his face. And he just says, shouldn't you be leading? Shouldn't you be still the boy that you are inside? Not even calling him a man.
And he just stares dead ass. Keep in mind, Wojtekna's heard every insult under the sun about him. People who have said many things about him. He does not keep his shit secret. He does not care. The only thing secret is whatever he plans. His family history is so public knowledge he doesn't care.
The
And he's
thing
like,
is, this first Overlord shouldn't have that knowledge.
and he just dead ass looks at the first overlord and he says, "It doesn't surprise me you have that knowledge, but you shouldn't even know that knowledge. But yet you're the first overlord." And he spawns another void cocktail and just drinks it slowly, methodically.
Or know something?
What?
It tastes like sharp glass.
Man said, "Here, I'm gonna make your shit taste like sharp glass."
And literally as he does that, the first Overlord literally plunges his fucking hand into his gut. Hard.
Void Techna coughs up and just pukes all over him.
You know what's funny? It passes through him.
Jesus.
And the first Overlord literally slowly just lifts him up. And he just says, you're such an insolent excuse. For yourself and for everyone else here.
And right as he does that, he's just like, fine, have it your way. His eyes start glowing a weird bluish purple, and he fucking jumps back from from him, his stomach starts healing almost instantaneously, and he pulls out the fucking sword. And guess what he does?
Hmm.
He channels in an ancient language a fucking void banishing spell and pushes the vanishing spell towards the first overlord.
You know what's funny?
What?
The first overlord, he stands there, opening himself wide to it with a wide smirk.
Somebody tells me he's seen these ancient ruins before.
He's the first overlord. Think about how OP he was back then.
Oh. So what does he so he gets so basically
He
then
has
this
tricks up his sleeve.
so somebody tells me he's planning something even though what's about to happen.
Just continue.
So then once his sigils surround him, he chants the ancient language and with his right hand crosses it over his heart and he makes two more symbols and then presses and twists his hands and the symbols that are surrounding the first overlord banish him somewhere else.
So they were sent towards the first overlord, correct?
Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's a banishing spell.
Yes. What happens when he does that?
What?
He literally flips around, and the trench coat he has turns into a mirror and literally deflects it right at him.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And one even hits the sword.
So basically he banishes him and the sword
Mm-hmm.
instead. In an instant.
Mm-hmm. And the true overlord kind of just looks at everyone else for a few moments.
You wanna know what you wanna know what's funny?
Mm.
Everyone says wait for it. That's just all you hear. Wait for it. Wait for it.
The first overlord just says, I know.
And with a flash of blue and purple lightning, he's back with the sword. And he looks at the true overlord, the first overlord, and says, "You really thought it was gonna be that easy?"
The first overlord just slowly looks at him. He just says, I planned on it. With a smirk.
And then Void Techno starts boasting, "I've been across many, many worlds. I've been to many, many multiverses over my eons of
So someone like
existence."
straight up punches him in the face.
And he literally, right as he's about to punch him, he catches it mid-punch and literally the fucking blocks it with his hand. Basically negating the damage.
No, and then the first overlord, he tilts his head so that he can look at Void Techna in the face. And he just smiles widely.
What is his beef with Void Techna?
And he just says, hook, line. As his hand literally becomes sharp blades go through and Void Techna's hand. And he just says, sinker.
Right as that happens, Void Techna cuts off his own hand. Literally slicing it off with a sword. And literally jumps back 3 feet and then staunches his wound with a fucking torch on the wall.
No. And the first overlord holding his now severed hand is just like, doesn't this feel familiar, kiddo?
He deadass looks at the true overlord and says, "I don't know what you're trying to get at, or why you've come to me in my ultimate conquest this day, but You've surely made a mistake.
The first overlord just simply says, I've made many mistakes. I hold them all.
Given your track record, it doesn't surprise me.
But the first overlord also says, but the one mistake I didn't make was having Dush as a friend. Why do you think the colony is a thing?
I see.
And then literally, just in front of him, the first overlord just eats that severed hand. You can see how wildly different he is than other overlords, huh?
Mm-hmm. And then he's like, very well. With his left hand, he conjures up pure void, and literally his hand starts to regenerate, conjuring up an exact identical hand out of nothingness. That should just show you that he is mental on another level. He does not care. Him versus the true overlord, the first overlord, is a sight to behold because they do not care, it seems like, at all. Doesn't matter what the other one throws at the other one, they don't care.
No, and the first overlord just says, you should be glad your world was given back. 'Cause it's not by chance that it was.
And he is like, why should I be grateful about my world? My main hub of activity. I've won. That war is now over, and the Micronians are now under my control, my jurisdiction. I have it all. He's literally saying that there's nothing that anyone can do to stop him. He is everything, and he's just helping out the people who helped him currently. That's why he's on this conquest at the moment in this world.
All the first overlord has just says, then let me take it all away again.
All away. All away. I am Void Techna. I am a conqueror. I have seen things. I am knowledge. Man literally took all his power away.
No, and then he just says, you're irresponsible. And he literally snaps as those runes fully burn.
Uh-huh.
And they're both transported, but it looks like they didn't get transported. The only difference is it's just him and the first overlord here now, in the building.
Wait, my army. Where is my army?
The first overlord doesn't answer. He only looks at him.
No matter. I can just summon them back. Literally just starting to channel the power of the void in his hands.
No, and all he hears from a random whisper is just, you're useless.
Who said that? Fight me! If you are not a coward. Basically telling whoever the fuck said that they are messing with the wrong person.
No, and then he just hears a weirdly feminine voice just say only one word. Why?
Did fucking Void, did he resurrect his wife?
Who said it was resurrection when it's echoes? And the first overlord just starts walking to him again. And he just goes up to him and just says, "What do you think she would say if she was here right now?"
Well, she's not. And what are you
Don't
gonna do?
face.
What are you gonna do about it? I am an all-powerful Void Techna, and there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that you can do to stop me.
No, I guess what he just does.
What?
He frowns, literally grabs the sword, and fucking eats the whole damn thing.
No! My sword!
And guess what happens next?
What?
You know how his left arm's completely missing?
Yeah?
He
But
hears,
he
he hears these weird sounds coming off of the first overlord before what should be an empty left arm socket grows into like a wing of blades and shit from that sword. He hears clocks ticking, but like in reverse, reverberating.
Damn, the true overlord really trying to make something out of this man.
And then, after all of that, he literally slaps Wojtekna, and he's like in a completely different room with mirrors.
Damn. He's fucking with Void Tech now on a whole different level.
He's not even trying to fuck with him.
No, and this is the last thing you hear. He says, "No." That's all. No, Void Tech all he says is, "No." And then the void that he's conjuring from his hands starts appearing again, and purple and blue lightning starts surrounding him. He's like, "Not today." And he snaps his
No,
fingers and a flash of lightning. Everything, the void corruption stops. Everything just goes back. He's like back on his ship, and he just off.
no, and wanna know something fucking crazy?
What?
The first overlord's right there.
Right in his ship?
Mm-hmm. And every member of his crew has these glass fragments around their heads while they're in some sort of trance.
And he looks at Void. He looks at the first overlord. It's like, this is impossible. Leave me alone.
He just smiles and just says, "You're just a reflection of yourself."
He looks around. He looks back at this beast in front of him, and he's like, huh, like you would know. And he just summons a cigarette and puffs a bunch of smoke.
Guess what he whispers?
What?
He just says, "Am I right, Dan?"
Bruh. Bruh's breaking the fourth wall with Void Techna.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's funny?
What?
Vorten can see he's actually in his normal form. But yet still with the void powers.
Void Techna looks around at himself, and then he looks back at this beast, and he's like, who the fuck is that? No, and then every single ounce of time around Void Techna and just in general stops. And guess what happens?
Hmm?
The director of everything shows up. Instantly, shaking the ship in his teleportation. And guess what pose he's taking
Hmm?
when he teleports in?
I swear to God, it's a T-pose.
No, it's the Iron Man pose where he got the fist on the ground and he got all the feet on the ground. And he's got his right arm out. That pose. And then he just stands up. And he's like, "Oh, what do we have here? Someone who decided to break the fourth wall.
You know what's funny?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't appear that the first Overlord is actually acknowledging him.
He doesn't acknowledge him? Really? Is he affected by the time stop?
No, because he's obviously still moving around.
But he doesn't acknowledge him, and yet Void. Is he shocked that that Void Techna just suddenly can't move? Like his time is completely stopped.
No.
But the director of everything is there.
I know, and he's not acknowledging him. Ain't that weird?
The director of everything just kind of stares. Dead ass expression. Just no emotion whatsoever, other than serious business. When the director of everything gets involved, you know shit's starting.
Mm-hmm. And then you know what's weird? The
What?
first body just drops to the floor.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It drops like it was a puppet.
On strings.
But there were no strings attached.
So maybe it wasn't puppeted by... whoever puppeted it had to do it remotely then.
Maybe. And then the first overlord body then just stands up again, looks at the director and of everything, and just says nothing.
You know what? You guess what the director of everything does?
Hmm?
He decides, I'm about to unfreeze time, but I'm gonna fix this boy. He ends up fixing Void Techna and giving back his Void essence and power in his form, but not his sword. That sword is now long gone, and
Mm-hmm.
and by the orders of someone. And guess you wanna know why the director of everything got involved?
Hmm.
It was his time.
Nice.
And remember, he's not only close to the director of time, he's close to the director of stories as well. Remember, the director of stories is also a main. He is pretty much one of the most important directors out of all the
Mm-hmm.
directors, on top of the true creator. So the director of everything being there is not a good sign. Let's just say that. And guess what he does about this whole true overlord showing, the first overlord showing up?
Hmm.
He grabs the lifeless body of the first overlord.
Oh, I just said that. It stood right back up earlier and
Uh,
looked at the director of
oh
everything.
yeah, it looked at him. So he looks back down at him, and guess what he sees in his eye sockets?
Hmm.
In his eye sockets, the director of everything has literally everything in there: life, death, experiences of all types, everything. There is literal galaxies forming and deforming, exploding and dying, wars being fought and lost. Everything under the sun.
Yeah. And guess what the director of everything sees in the empty void of the first overlord's face?
What?
He sees a scene starting to flicker, and it's only that of a hill and a lone cherry blossom tree. A single figure just sitting there alone before it fades out.
And the director of everything asked, "Why are you here? Why are you meddling in our affairs?"
The
Meddle too
first,
much and you will regret it. He doesn't even care about the explanation. They either tell him or they don't.
the first overlord just replies with, "Then we're even."
He raises an eyebrow.
And he
Cause what?
doesn't elaborate further.
Because it could be anything. And remember, the director of everything has seen everything, so something may have happened that probably caused that. Something. But we don't know what.
Mm-hmm.
And as things go back to normal, guess what he does?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't let Void Techna forget his experience, but he's like, very well, I must resume time. He snaps his fingers, resume times, and disappears. All at the same time. And Void Techna's like, yeah, wait, where'd he go? As all everything starts to turn back to normal. And Void Techna goes back to his fleet, and you know what he says? You know what he says to himself?
Mm-hmm.
I need to call him up. And he calls someone. And remember that blue Stalaxian I pointed out earlier?
Mm-hmm.
He calls him on the video screen, and the video screen in his ship pops up with him, and all his minions are under his control again, and everyone's worshiping him, etc. And and on the video call, the blue Stalaxian talks to him. He's under a tree hiding out, and he's like, "So how did it go with the meddling nuisances?" "I think we stirred up a hornet's nest, sir. All is according to plan, and your eldritch husband may go to work as soon as the plan is ready. You will have my signal, I promise you that." And the blue Stalaxian with the off-colored eyes and off-color horn and off-color, like, kind of off-looking kind of features, he's like, "Good. I don't know how much longer I can keep hiding like this." And I won't be making any deals with the company anytime soon. And hopefully hopefully whoever puppeted that beast will stay away from us now. Righto, sir. And after that, they end their transmission and go back to being themselves. Like nothing actually happened. Now that should tell you something right there.
I'm gonna tell you now. That whole fight was just a fucking facade.
Because someone was puppeting him, and here's the thing. That blue Stalaxian knew someone was going to interfere sooner or later. Because of something. He didn't know what, but he knew something. And when he heard about this first overlord going around, he's like, something doesn't seem right. Person's supposed to be dead. So he's hiding among the Stalaxians, pretending to be one of them, and actually fooling them. I guess you could say there's an imposter among them.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, that whole first overlord fight, that was a facade.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I could tell. Well, as much as I would love to keep doing this, I think that's enough for now. What do you think?
Yeah. What do you
Alright,
think of the first overlord appearing and fighting like that?
that was pretty good. Any finishing statements? Because, we're live and stuff.
Remember, people, keep your eyes and ears open. Stay awake. And don't dream.
I only have one thing to say.
Chicken nuggets.
No, it was gonna be the cycle continues. Break the cycle.
Yes, break the chicken tendies.
No. And